Good evening. My name is Susan Stevenson. I'm the Chair of the Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation of the Village of Southampton. I'm calling this meeting of March 25th, 2019 to order. Do I have a motion to open the meeting?
I make a motion that we open this meeting of the Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation on March 25th, 2019.
Second, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great. Before we begin, I'd like to make it clear that I expect everyone, the board and the public, to speak and act with civility in here. Anyone who wants to speak should sign up. There's a list on the front table so we know how to spell your name. And also, no one may speak until the chair recognizes them to come forward so that we have less confusion in the front. If you have any materials to present to the board, please place them on the table in front and have them facing the board so our videographer can pick them up. I'd like to introduce the board tonight. To my left, Rob Coburn and Christina Redding. We have our counsel, Bo Robinson, our historic consultant, Zach Studenroth, our videographer, Charlie Styler, and Antoinette Edwards is our recording secretary. Let's get started. First, we have the minutes. Were both of you here on March 11th? Mm-hmm. Yes?
Yes.
Are you good to, interested in,
Yep.
you read them?
I'm fine.
Okay, let's have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from March 11th, subject to the corrections that have already been made and circulated.
Second.
Aye.
Aye. There was a little bit of confusion. Does anyone remember agree to cancel the Memorial Day meeting on May 27th? I thought we did, but the
I
building
thought we did too.
the building department would like us to do it again. So can I have a motion, please?
Go on.
I'll make a motion that we cancel our meeting for the Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation for Memorial Day.
May
Second.
27th.
Yes. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good. Next. Moving on, signs. Bunnell Builders LLC contractor sign. It's blue. Is there anyone here? Come forward, sir, and state your name.
Hi, my name's Quillen. And yes.
This is your sign?
Yes.
Charlie, I'm holding it up.
Fine.
Looks good to me.
Simple.
Motion to approve? Oh, what's the material?
I think it's PVC, 3/4 inch.
Any public comments?
Any public comment on the sign?
I'll make a motion that we approve the sign for Bunnell Building Company.
It's pretty.
as
Second.
presented. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved.
Thank you very much.
That was easy. Huh? Next, Silverman Realty Corporation real estate sign. That one wasn't in there when I looked. No, and I asked, because the person lives there, it's okay.
Oh, I see.
Hi.
Hi, Denise, Hampton Signs.
Hi, how are
Hi.
you?
Do you have a copy of the sign by any chance to lay down, or we can just hold it up? Susan?
I'll be holding it up. The Vanna White of signs.
What is the material?
PVC.
It's this color too, it's the same thing. Any comments from the board?
No?
It's bright, but it's simple.
I think it's fine. Any comments from the public?
I'll make a motion that we approve the
Yep.
sign for, just remind me of the name.
Silverman Realty
Silverman
Corporation.
Realty Corporation.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, Charleston Shoe Company.
No?
Oh, okay.
That's all right.
Two of them, actually.
There's an awning application and a sign application.
Okay. Yes,
Another shoe store. Yay.
are there window decals, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with the awning. Do you
Okay.
have,
The awning isn't in that drawing. That one's just the signs.
right. Oh, it's not being approved here? That's
separate
not- oh, it's-
application for the
Yes, but we do
signs
have an
and the window
application
decal.
for the awning.
Yes.
Right.
We do.
So that's the first one on my list.
And that's going to be Deb, so I'm going to.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Okay, this is the material.
Yes,
Umbrella.
yes.
Charlie? And this is what it would look like?
And it's going on, what's the address again?
12 Jobs Lane.
12 Job's Lane.
I think it's pretty.
I think it's pretty. Besides his shoes, yay.
It's not the basis for an approval.
When are you
Yes.
opening?
So, anyone from the public like to speak about this awning? No.
I'll make a motion that we approve the awning proposed by Charleston Shoe Company.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion, application approved. Next. Your name, sir?
Ron Fisher from Fisher Signs. You're welcome.
Okay. Charleston Shoe. So it's a sign and a window decal?
Yes.
Both? Okay. Oh, you have a pot. You put something down.
So which are we considering now?
They're both storefront and window. It seems to be all in the same application.
It's on the same one. I don't have it on my agenda.
He did submit 2 applications.
Okay, so let's see how it goes. Maybe it'll just be fine.
The material for the sign up top is
PVC.
It's PVC, and it's two-tone. It's a blue, or three tones, I guess, blue, white, and
Correct. And I brought a Pantone sample if you want to see the greenish color.
that top color. Would you mind setting that down next to, thank you very much. That's the lightest of those colors.
The one at the very top or bottom, depending on how you look.
Okay. Charlie, if you could just get the color. And that's sort of around the edges.
Correct.
Okay. And then the lettering is all black?
Yes.
So I have no objection to the sign. I'm thinking maybe the window decal is, we'll get to that next, is a little big. So
I have
for
no
the
problem
sign,
with
does
the sign.
I
anyone,
have no problem with
Any,
it. It's cheerful and
anyone
pretty.
from the public have anything to say about the Charleston Shoe Company sign?
I'll make a motion that we approve the storefront
Storefront.
sign for Charleston Shoe Company.
Second.
Aye.
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 Now the decal.
Does anyone, so I just looked to see if there were other decals
window.
right near your store, and there are, but they're not quite as, they're more writing than logo-ish. So I would think, I don't want to start, could it just say the name of the,
Can I just ask first, the duck and weave is going to go
Gone.
away?
Gone.
That's
Yeah.
the old store.
That's the old store.
Okay.
And it had, their logo in it, their font. So it was important to Charleston Shoe Company that they got the window decal also, particularly because they're going to have an awning. So they're worried about visibility of the sign. And they've already lost the adornment to the decal and the overhead sign by going down to just a rectangle one. So it was important to them to be able to put the logo on the window.
I
But-
don't mind, go ahead.
if you drive down the street, there's white lettering decals of the other stores that have lower lettering to announce themselves because the sign is up higher for whatever reason. They don't actually have such an elaborate decal. And I think that that might have to take place.
They're trying to brand, though, the store a
They
little
have
bit.
a number of locations across the U.S., and this is their first one here.
My concern, Susan, I could go your direction, which is to just keep it to lettering, but it's also a little bit large in that window. Would they be willing to make it smaller?
I'm sure they would. If you would allow the extra things there, I'm sure they would
You know
reduce
what
the
I'm saying?
size.
Like, I kind of get why they might want to brand a little bit and have it visible, but I just think that's too large.
Really? I think the round part should go.
But that's part of their
I
branding.
think
guess.
smaller is fine. I understand that they want to make it. Goodness knows, everybody has
Well,
to
how
work
much
so
smaller
hard
can they
to
make
get
it?
the
I mean,
big
This
stores.
is a good question. I mean, we do have this issue often with the overhead signs being 15 feet up even without an awning and hard to see from the sidewalk. I think it's reasonable, and I don't mind it being branded, but it
Well,
just,
so on here, I think this is pretty big.
yeah.
I also don't think that's that hard to see or read. That's me. I'm not saying what you should think, but I don't see why. So for me, this would be okay.
I see what you're saying. Like
But-
a repeat of the sign.
Yeah. So it would be part of what they claim is the branding, but people say it's, you know, we don't know what it's not
that their
McDonald's,
logo?
let's put it that way.
I'm sorry?
It's
That is
not
their
Golden
logo.
Arches, so.
They had-
Would there be so I would be willing to approve it if you took out the
Globe, basically, the stars.
the round part.
So it matched the overhead sign? That was,
Yeah.
we took it out for the overhead sign already. They had wanted it in there, but it affected the square footage, and then it was too tiny. So this was the compromise they wanted me to propose.
I understand that, but
If they want to have that logo, I mean, and it brings up a fair question as to what size, I do feel that that's just too large. There are not similar-sized
decals.
decals in windows.
I'm happy to propose a reduction if you'll consider allowing the globe to stay. Either way, I'd like an approval tonight, so if it has to go, I understand. But if you'll consider it smaller with the globe, I know the client would appreciate it.
It's hard for me to imagine what the right size is. It's something smaller than that, but obviously they want to brand it and needs to be legible. Is there any guidance? You know,
You propose a 25% reduction?
I'm not
You don't
saying
like the
yes to the
globe at
round
all?
thing, but you can talk to them about how much, because they may be amenable to it, I'm just not.
Okay.
So we also, if that's the case, we also only have 3 members here tonight, and you're going to need 3 yes votes for this. So you could request an adjournment and come back for this decal sign
Susan
and
said
see.
that's not true. So,
I'm sorry.
It is true.
oh, it is
You
true.
need
So that was,
to-
okay,
No,
sorry.
you could come back with more board members, see if you had 3 votes of support for it. I might suggest that you play around with a smaller version, because this one might not have my vote.
Okay.
And I don't know what the right size is.
So can you separate, because I did submit 2 applications. Will
Yeah,
you approve
will
the
you
overhead?
approve?
They're
Okay.
separated.
Yeah, I think
We've
that's fair,
approved
and then I can come
the
back in 2 weeks.
storefront. We're only
approved the
talking about the decal, but you
Right.
would have to come back in 2 weeks.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
fair.
The storefront.
Do you
I'll
want to
come back with
request
2 options.
an
I'm gonna,
adjournment?
please, for the window decal, sure.
Okay. So I'm going to make a motion that we accept the applicant's request for an adjournment on the decal sign.
Thank you.
Second.
Aye.
Aye, that's
Aye.
the storefront.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
that's April 8th, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
8th or 9th?
I think it's the 8th.
Okay.
Bonnet. I'm missing the first sign, Bonnet.
I don't have any signs on my agenda.
I know, here, I do, but this
Is
I'm
is
missing
there
the first
another sign?
application.
no more signs
No more
on mine.
I know, but I'm missing literally missing the first application.
Oh, the sign application?
Yes, for the first one, Bonnet. Has somebody got it?
Did we take it? Did we put it down? No, I held it up.
Okay.
Okay, what's in the folder? Is it underneath there? Look.
There it is. Okay.
I used to have a job
Thank
where the
you.
person I worked for lost everything. Next, written decisions.
Susan, the agenda I'm looking at has a number 5 on the sign, stat face.
Well, that's nice. The one I have doesn't.
What's,
Do you have a folder, another 5th folder for the sign, Rob?
Do we have another sign?
no.
Face?
That
Stat
face,
face?
yes.
It's on the,
One of those nights.
it's on this agenda. You want it?
It's what? It's on the floor? Where is
It's on
it?
the agenda here.
It's on the agenda, but we don't have the...
Yes, we do. We do.
Oh, we do?
We do.
All right.
That face.
When was that put in?
Last week.
Okay, well, we need to,
Thanks, man.
okay. I'm just gonna correct mine.
Is it British?
What is fat face?
United Kingdom.
I have no idea.
Okay,
It's got to be British because underneath it says United Kingdom.
fat
Yes,
face.
we know that, yeah.
3 signs. Where is it? Oh, 45 Main Street.
Oh, it's where, yes. Oh, wow.
It's where Christopher Kaufman
Next
used to be.
London Villas. That's where next James Pierce was.
James Pierce, yeah, and Christopher
Okay.
Kaufman before that.
Oh, this is exciting.
So let's see fat face.
Okay, so what are you proposing? It looks like a number.
So there's 3-dimensional letters on there. There's an awning, and then there's window graphics.
Do you have anything to lay down?
No, I mean, if they,
There's an awning that's black, is that correct?
it's like a slate, dark gray. But no, nothing on it.
Okay.
Just plain.
Anyone want to speak about that?
Can I just, I'm just having a hard time. This wasn't in the file when I was there last week. So how many signs are we approving overall? The awning?
Window graphics
window
and the,
graphics, and an above store
and
sign?
above individual letters saying fat face
three.
in three-dimensional letters.
So essentially three components. So the awning is the slate gray. I don't have an
I
objection
don't
to the awning.
have, make a motion to approve the awning.
Is it all part of one application, though? That's what I'm
Well, I-
wondering.
Is it on your agenda?
Here, we put it on the table as we go through it. I could do that.
So we approve the awning separately, the window decal separately, and the sign?
No,
That's what we usually
here's
do.
the awning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so they are separate. Okay, so I'll make a motion that we approve the awning for Fat Face.
Second.
Aye.
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 Okay.
Okay, so one down. Next,
Do the above store sign.
Yeah, it's three-dimensional lettering shown there.
is that this?
Yes.
So it's three-dimensional and the letters are,
Cut acrylic.
and they are white? No, it's white.
black.
Black? Mm-hmm. Say that?
Black on a white background?
It's going on around the building.
So
I
it
see.
says, does it actually say on here that it's black?
I think the next picture
There's
shows
other-
it black.
Shows it.
Yeah, it shows it.
I'm gonna write black on it. How's that? You want to initial it? I don't know what else we can do. Also, it says United Kingdom, is that correct? Or that doesn't show on the,
I'll put it down on the table and then,
you know, none of us have seen this because it mysteriously appeared in the file. So that's the, oh, there's an idea.
okay, so.
I know it said that they don't like to be,
Thank God, coming into stores.
No, this is window lettering, that's why I labeled up here. So this is window lettering,
Okay.
Make it,
our way.
there we go.
that way.
Perfect.
Is it white or black?
This is white,
Okay, we'll cross it.
and then this shows where the window lettering is going, right here in this corner.
Could you zoom in on the storefront picture?
We'll just do the window lettering first.
Get in a little closer. Thank you. Thank you very much.
What is all that down there?
And
See
there's
the window
nothing-
lettering?
Yeah, okay.
Nothing
there.
on the awning, that's nice.
Okay,
13 and a half
fat face.
inches wide.
And that says United Kingdom, right, in white?
Yes, underneath.
All right, I don't have an objection to
I have
that.
no objection.
Anyone from the public have an objection to the decal for fat face? No.
I'll make a
Motion?
motion that we approve the decal signage for Fat Face.
Okay.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
And then this is the building lettering. It's three-dimensional.
and it's black.
It is, yes, black.
And there was you showed a picture where it was positioned, is that
Yeah.
correct?
Right above the awning.
Okay. Do you have any,
And this gives another view of it over here.
okay, that looks okay to me. Motion to approve the
No public comment? I assume?
public comment.
I'll make a motion that we approve the above store signage, storefront signage for Fat Face.
Second.
Just to make a note there, the face of it is black and the sides are white tail on the sides of the letters. I just saw that.
Okay.
Okay, so
Aye.
I'd
We
say
don't
aye.
know
So I-
what kind of a store Fat Face is.
Not a clue.
Motion that
It's got to be
Christine-
British.
Okay, so then, are we missing one?
No,
That's
you're
it.
good.
Where was the thing that showed the Union Jack? Is that?
Oh, that's
No,
here.
it said United Kingdom.
No, there was a
Over here,
Union
there's a
Jack.
little Union Jack in the corner.
It's got to
Is
be
that
a
Right
part
there.
of the decal application?
Yes.
Oh,
Yay.
I saw it for a moment.
British are coming.
I've seen this for the first time.
Can we have all that back,
Yeah.
please, maybe?
Here's the Union Jack. Wait.
So that's on the left-hand side, and it's how big? That big?
It's 15 inches.
Oh, I don't, it says.
12 by 15.
12 by 15.
Right. And this one's 13 and a half.
This is, okay, I think we actually need to look at those pieces.
Okay.
We'll need them back, yeah, thank you.
Because we haven't seen them, they weren't in whatever we were looking at, which is unfortunate.
Thank you.
All right, I have to cross out that I wrote black. So what about the window decal with the union, here, this is what we're talking about here.
I think it's amazing.
That's because you have a British accent. Here. Are you down? It's 12 by 15.
Yeah, it keeps most of the window open, I'm fine with it. Yeah.
Okay, so that was 2 window decals, correct?
2 window decals, an awning, and then overhead letters.
If we've already approved it, even though we didn't know that was part of it, we don't need to revote. Okay, we've clarified, you're good, I think.
So, did we actually vote on all?
Yeah, because there's 3
Yes, we did.
applications. But the window decal had 2 parts to it,
We voted on it.
lower right and lower
I'm
left.
happy to vote again.
I think we don't need to. I think we've approved it.
Do you have, are these the only papers that are with this?
And the applications themselves. right?
Yes, here.
Oh, I want to see that again.
And here's the book you can use to roll back together.
So we're good?
We're good, you're good.
Thank you.
Thank you
Here's
very
the
much.
3 applications that you have to sign tomorrow, and I'll put it all back together.
It's all yours. That concludes the signs for this evening. Correct? So now,
Women's, men's, and kids.
moving ahead to written decisions, sorry, Bo, my
All
agenda.
right, we have
Right.
2 decisions this evening. The decisions for 24, SH24 LLC and SH28 LLC. 28 is due April 8th. There's an extension on 24 until April 8th, so we'll have both of them for that meeting. This evening, you have 130 Murray Lane, which approves the application as amended. An affirmative vote on that will be to approve the amended application regarding the chimney, and also with the caveat that the owner would cooperate with the neighbor to resolve any landscaping issues, or a referral back to the for landscaping back to the board upon submission of the application to the planning board. And then the fourth one, the second approval is Beechwood Latch with the garage, approving that application for demolition as submitted.
That's the Terry Cottage portion of
Correct.
the latch. On the Murray Lane application,
Yes.
can you just walk through just so I'm clear on the sequencing
Yeah.
with respect to the landscaping and the approval?
The
before-
application must go to the planning board under the flag lot application rule. So counsel for the applicant has advised the board that pending that submission, they will work with the neighbor, contact the neighbor and work with them, which they have. I've confirmed that through the neighbor's counsel, to design a landscape plan that takes into consideration any issues the neighbor has. When that comes before the planning board, I will be monitoring that, and we will advise the lady who appeared here that it will be heard at the planning board on a certain day, and she can attend that meeting and make any comments she'd like. Hopefully, they will have resolved those issues, and the planning board can move forward with that. The planning board then will refer it to this board, the landscape plan, for your comments. You will then review that and refer any comments you have back to the planning board, and then they can take it from there and resolve the matter to a decision.
Will that be at a public hearing when it comes back here, or will it just be for the board
It'll
to
just be a
review?
referral, yeah, there'll be no public hearing.
If the applicant had questions or concerns that lingered that weren't addressed beforehand?
The planning board will address those.
Okay, good. Okay.
All right. Are we ready to vote on Beechwood Latch LLC?
Thank you, Bob. Yes.
Okay.
On Beechwood Latch?
Yes.
I
Okay.
make a motion that we accept written decision by
No,
council
that you approve.
on the application of Beechwood Latch.
Second? Aye.
Aye.
No, you, all right, good.
You still need to vote on Murray Lane.
Lane, yes.
Yes,
And I-
just a second. Okay, this is the second file. Murray Lane,
And I make a motion that we accept written decision by our council on 134 Mary Lane LLC.
Second.
Aye.
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 Trouble one of you for a copy?
Should be an extra copy in the file, Rob.
I have the original ones. I can give you
No, you
mine.
gotta keep that one.
Okay.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Evening.
You can't leave so soon.
It's an easy night. Next,
My Wi-Fi behind
next, moving ahead, driveway gates non-historic. Michael Aziz, 157 White Street. Posting and mailing.
Did they get you the mailing or not?
Was that the problem before?
That was, they said they had gotten the mailing to you. I hope they did.
Did they?
Affidavit of posting and mailing are in here.
Great.
When's the
Okay.
affidavit of mailing, posting signed dated?
March 11th, 2019.
What? He has to go for,
Attest to the posting for 10 days until the 10th day has run, which would be close to or on the date of the hearing, which would be today.
it's the 25th?
Right, but it's dated the 11th, right?
It is. This was previously on for the 11th, right? And they
Was
had
when
this,
they forgot?
this was
They
adjourned
didn't
from
have it.
before.
Is that
Forgive me.
okay?
And they just
Yeah.
didn't have the physical affidavit, so it
Okay, so it
got,
was,
That meeting was the 11th,
that was the
Yes.
11th, correct.
so that would be,
oh, yes, they had to come back with documents that they misplaced. Is
otherwise,
that right?
Got it.
I hope
You
so.
you don't
days
know.
would not have-
Okay,
I have
never
no
mind.
idea.
That's fine.
Okay, Charles Kuhn, P.O. Box 641 Northport, New York. Okay, so we are proposing a driveway gate. This picture here is what is existing now. There are two posts. They were approved by the board prior to this.
Really?
Sorry?
With that light on it?
Yeah, the light was approved by the board. So what they're planning to do is reuse those lights, rebuild the posts, and add gates. But those lights were approved. I have a note here saying that this was the light that was approved
Oh,
by this board prior.
When
which
was
is
that?
this.
Can you tell me, do you know when it was? 3 years ago, yesterday?
Oh, I have no idea, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
I'm not sure when it was prior approved.
So now you're putting taller, so you're
All
taking
right, so-
those stumpy posts you're taking away?
These posts are coming down, the entire gate and posts are going to be moved back. They're going to be about 29 feet back from the property line. The new posts are going to be 7 feet high with the lights on top of that. The lights are 15 inches tall. And the gates themselves will be 6 feet tall.
So,
Yeah, further back in.
yeah.
Do you happen to know what the total area is for the wood versus open space, or the material versus open space on the fence?
The entire area of the gate itself.
Right.
The gate is okay, so basically it would be 6 feet tall by 15. I can do the math real quick. The bottom third of the gates will be solid panel, and then it'll transition to a picket
The,
design above that.
the pickets are thin, right? I think that looks, it's pretty tall. 7 feet tall.
The post will be
Plus
7 feet.
15 inches, right?
6 feet tall.
6 feet tall plus the light fixture.
The post is 7 feet tall plus the light fixture.
7.
So that's pretty tall. Does it need to be that tall?
I
Oh,
just
I-
think it's
It
so
looks out of-
set back so far.
Oh, yeah, right, 30 feet. All
Yeah,
right.
well, roughly 29, 30 feet.
All right,
yeah.
Rob has a good point. I don't have an objection.
Yeah.
Is there anyone who has anything to say about these gates? One step forward, please. No one.
I'll make a proposal that we approve the application of Michael Aziz for driveway gates at 157 White Street.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, driveway gates non-historic, TBH Holdings LLC, 60 Herrick Road.
Evening.
Good evening.
Fred
Your-
Saludo. I did not bring a plan. I wasn't informed by Diane to do so.
We have a plan here.
Yeah, I assume you had.
We might have, we only have one? No,
we have two.
Yeah, and we can share one up here.
Okay, sir, you want to describe the gates?
The constructed AZAC, PVC, cellular.
Pay no attention to that down front.
Sorry,
Trying to be
I would
helpful.
have brought.
Just trying to be helpful.
You're fired.
What was scotch tape in there? There we go. We're good.
It's a gate, it's all right.
Could be painted white.
Okay.
How do
And-
they open?
It's a single open, like a
Single swing.
single open swing. Yeah.
And a single open that's 13 feet? It's on James
It's gonna be on James Street.
Street, so hopefully, you know, these small streets when there's
Yeah, it's, I think it's
a
11
gate.
feet in.
But that's,
It'll be in swing. So it should.
oh, okay. Okay, I don't have an objection.
And no lights
No
proposed?
lights.
Is there anyone, any neighbors want to speak about the gates? No.
I'll make a proposal that we approve the application of TBH Holdings LLC for driveway gates at 60 Herrick Road.
Two affidavits. here?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, posting and mailing? Yes, sorry.
Yep.
Whoops. Thank you.
We want to thank
Oh,
you.
here, no, we have to have it, so we'll
I
just,
know, but
no. It'll be all right. Well, I'll tape it together tomorrow. You know, office supplies aren't really big down here.
I'm off my game.
All right, don't worry about it. So those two have been approved. Next, driveway gates historic. David C. Novak Revocable Trust, 110 Ox Pasture Road. Two sets of driveway gates.
We have the affidavits are in there.
And affidavits of posting and mailing are in there? Yes. Already? Great.
Will Schultz, representing David C. Novak Revocable Trust. We're proposing 2 new gates to replace the existing gates. The posts,
Can you put that down so you can pick it up? Thank you. Oh, yeah, I like that.
the last page of your packet showed the existing gate that's there, which I'll put out.
This one's really transparent, right? I like your gates.
Lots of
Thank you.
transparency.
It's very nice. So you can kind of see, which is
Yeah, and
helpful.
I included the survey and also showing we're pushing the gates back to the required depth. They're
18.
14 now, so we're going back.
Okay.
The posts are going to be the same, we're just pushing them back, and it's the gates that we're replacing.
Do you have a survey there? Or
I have a
Yes.
survey.
I can
there
put that
on
up.
the survey, because I was having trouble seeing, you say it's pushed back, but it looks like gates are right at the property line on the survey that I have.
Well, this shows the 18 feet now. It's at 14 feet now, which is 4 feet closer.
All right, those are,
There's another survey, and maybe that's,
here's the survey.
yeah, and in the file, there should be,
In the bottom of the packet?
the survey was revised, so that might be,
Yeah, okay. I didn't see the
the
new
new
survey.
survey is in the file. 2 copies.
Did that just come in, you know?
Yeah, so
Okay.
Diane, we were supposed to take out the old ones, I guess.
Okay, yeah, when I saw it, I couldn't
Sorry.
find. That's
I
right.
apologize.
That's all right. I just,
So yeah, they're 18 feet back, so they're 14 now, so they'll be going 4 feet back.
Would anyone
I have no
like to
objection.
speak about this application? I don't have an objection. I think it
I
looks
have no
nice.
objection.
And no lights.
There are two of them, right?
No lights proposed.
There are two,
There's a service
two
gate and-
locations.
and a main gate.
Okay.
So 2 sets of gates.
Yes.
And did you do any calculations as to the amount of space between the pickets, the ratio of space to picket?
It's,
It's
What's the width of the picket and the width of the space?
an inch and a half for the pickets, and there's 4 inches in between.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
So-
that's on the plans.
Yep.
yep. Do I have a motion to approve David C. Novak
I
revocable
make a
trust?
motion that we approve the driveway gates for David C. Novak Revocable Trust on Ox Pasture.
We're making a motion to refer to council for written
Oh,
decision.
for written
Refer to
decision
council
by
for
our
written
council.
decision, that's right.
With no illumination, correct?
Yep,
No illumination.
No illumination.
he said no lights.
I will second Christina's motion.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Thank you.
thanks very much. So when we get the paperwork done, I don't want to rush you. There we go. We can take it, let you get ready. So next is Herman Lamison, 153, we're on public hearings, non-historic. Herman Lamison, 153 David White's Lane, construct addition and exterior alterations. Please state your name, Mr. DeVito.
DeVito. How's everybody doing tonight? Happy spring. You have some new color renderings in your package. These are the stamp plans that were submitted. I also put some pictures in there of the neighborhood.
So can you just walk through what's different? I'm seeing this rendering versus the previous rendering.
The color.
Right. Is that achieved by weathering or by stain?
No,
or-
so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a silver mix on there to speed up the weathering. So it'll be a bleaching oil and silver mix. But if it stayed natural, that's how it would. But we are gonna put a silver mix on it.
And you've removed the stone from the
Correct.
southeast corner?
So if you see on the existing, go ahead.
This thinner?
The proportions are the building hasn't changed in terms of its proportions, is that,
Nope, just aesthetics.
okay?
I talked to Herman's granddaughter and asked if we could do something else, in her room. And she really likes that clear story and those lights. She really wants to grow up with that light coming in on her.
That's the part I can't go for.
There's one across the street.
It's not,
It's also set back off the front of this. It's also set back, if you look on the floor plan,
Did
it's not as relevant.
the paint color for the stucco change, or is that just a difference in the rendering?
It was a difference in the rendering, but it's still that off-white color.
You don't have a paint sample for the stucco, do you? Okay. Okay. Well, I think that the colors on the rendering, at least, look better to me.
I was trying to tell you last time, the coloring on it's Superior mahogany. It's gonna lighten up and
Right.
reach out.
But color wasn't my biggest issue, unfortunately. I still, I think, I just find that 2/3 form cut off on the northeast corner to be odd. In conjunction with the flat roof, it feels like I don't know what to make of the architecture, and I appreciate that some of it is interesting, and that there are some things that tie it together, like the fascia boards and the roof lines.
If you look at the roof line on the plan itself, you'll see that the clear story setup matches the rear gate. So it does make sense of the construction you're looking at, simple colored rendering, but when you go to either over here, go to any of the other drawings, it's just that little flat section,
Yeah.
which there's no way to get out to.
But
It's
from the street,
it's an
you won't,
18-foot height.
but from the street, you won't see really that back gabled form very well.
Not going to see much
to
of the
help mix.
front. I just put 12 to 14-foot green giant arborvitae's in.
But
By the time
we
the
don't wanna-
summer's over,
We can't be just hiding the architecture because that's
Not
not
hiding
what
the
we, that's
architecture.
not what we're here for.
we're not hiding the
It's-
architecture.
You know,
We're only 18-foot high.
I know you keep saying that, but every time I look at it, I think I cannot say yes to it. That one overhang, it just doesn't go together.
Stop looking at that elevation. Look at
I can't help it.
sections here.
Well,
Look
it-
at the,
No, but I looked at a
Front?
different part, and it just is, it looks like you're trying to get a certain amount of space or certain options in the building, but that doesn't mean it makes a cohesive package, to me.
we're not
It's-
trying to
Well,
grab extra space. He's looking for a particular look. This is what they like. This is
Well,
what they're
I hear
wanting to
you.
live in, wanting to grow up in. This is not, we're not squeaking out for maximum width, way under max everything in this.
The windows on the back, sort of the cathedral windows in the gable form, do they have mullions? The rendering seems to indicate no, but,
They do have mullions.
okay, they're black, painted black, or is that why they're not really
Yes,
showing up?
They're black, so they're not going to show up on that.
I have a thought,
Okay,
not my,
I'll
all I'm
listen.
thinking is, if you could turn that element 90 degrees
That's-
so that those three little windows up in the upper story were on the rear facade, facing back.
West.
So
Facing
that
west.
whole little corner element rotated. So it wasn't, the ridge line was not paralleling the front portion, but was rather perpendicular to it.
So then you're not getting you're not getting all
I don't know where
day
the sun's
sun.
coming from here.
You're turning
I'm only looking
west.
at the architecture and thinking that those three little windows would sit up there, and that'd be the back facade. And I don't know where the light's coming from, but at least that would face to the back, all right? Facing toward the north.
Then I would fall in, if I shot it that way,
Yeah.
I would hit the pyramid.
I was only suggesting turning
So I'd
that
have a problem with the
architectural
pyramid
element
look.
so that it wasn't
Yeah, he's gonna hit the pyramid.
visibly, oh, you're gonna hit the pyramid.
Correct.
I see, you're fitting under that.
I mean, this
Okay.
is
Of course.
got to be the most.
I see what you're saying. Right. Nope. Sorry.
How would you describe this style?
Cool. Damn
How
cool.
about using architectural terms?
Very cool. Architecturally.
So the problem I'm having is that it doesn't fit to me. It has elements of a couple different styles that don't typically get seen together. You know, there's a sort of flat roof modernist portion. There's an even more modern, almost mid-century look to the big overhang by the front door and the chimney. And then there's these traditional gabled forms. And it just is not coming through as coherent to me.
If I can,
I understand it would be an improvement perhaps on what's there, and I know it's an eclectic neighborhood, as many are in the village.
Rob, there is nothing but multicolored, multi-style houses throughout this whole area.
Right, but this, what we're saying is, this house doesn't have a cohesive style, would you say? Or a
Cohesive style to what? The neighbors?
purposeful, it doesn't have a,
Within itself.
yes, because
Well,
that's what we're
forget
really
the
looking
neighbors
at,
for now.
Frank. You know, and it just comes off as something added on to something
I'd really
else.
prefer to see all of this as flat roofed and modern.
That would be fine with me.
I mean, as a way of trying to make it coherent.
But see, this is what they had from before, so that's why this is here.
No, this, I don't think so. This portion here, the bedroom,
Correct.
is that existing or is that new? Well, that'll be new construction, right? The footprint of the house,
The footprint of the house, we're coming forward 20 feet.
so this is all new
That's all
construction.
new construction.
Oh, I thought they said that they were,
So we
Right.
are
In fact, that's all-
renovating
This is all an addition. This really is mostly an addition and the bedroom is an
across the front and 5 foot back from that clear story. That room is 15 feet.
proposed addition.
Yeah. So the gabled form, more or less, the big gabled form more or less covers the existing house, roughly.
Correct.
Right.
And a good part of the flat roof.
This shows what I object to. It's like two things jammed together. Well, I don't think, since there are only three of us, and I just can't say yes to this. And I don't know if Rob can, but since you need 3 votes to go ahead, I don't think we can go ahead tonight.
But you're giving me no direction. We're not going to build a flat roof house throughout here.
We have any option to build, that's what architecture is, full of surprises.
The goal of that sort of cut form is to get some light, like sort of skylights, but from a window rather than from the road.
Exactly. So instead of putting skylights in that are going to be nothing but problems throughout the years, and there's a crap detail. Came up with a clear story. This was architecture that they like, they're looking for. And it's not. We're not maxing out anything there. So I thought it a little, hard to believe that you just can't get beyond this. And you can't even tell me, make it flat,
We're
What
not
do you-
supposed to tell you what to do.
What do you
We're-
dislike?
I
You
dislike
dislike
that
this?
addition, that sticking up, yes, I do. I mean, I could go on, but I don't find the rest of the proposed house objectionable, although the shutters thing makes me a little uneasy.
Why
But
does the
that-
shutter thing make you uneasy? If it's a bind sliding track?
It just
I put
doesn't
swing
look nice
shutters
to
on
me,
there-
that's all. But that big,
Make believe they're on hinges.
yeah,
All right.
I
So we're
wonder-
going
you
to
know-
adjourn this again?
are you asking us? Yes.
What am I going to do?
I don't know, I'm sorry. So,
Let me ask you this. Is there a way to complete that form that's currently cut off and to make the flat portion of it, the flat roof portion, a little smaller?
Look, I could bring up the side, max out my pyramid. I can flatten out the top. There's things I could do, but then I'm moving into maxing things out we're not looking to. We wanted to build something sleek, low, very well kept, very well maintenance. And it's going to go back to just sitting there and figuring out where our max is and capping everything to get a better look. Something that is approved. If I came here with 3 gables sweeping, like everything else, that's really what we're going to turn the village into?
I don't think that's
Shingle
what we're
style,
saying.
We're not-
3 sweeps?
We're not trying to say
Just
that. We've approved,
uncomfortable with the forms.
we approved a house around the corner here on Powell not too
Yeah, I
long
know,
ago
and
that has multiple different forms to it.
Saw that.
The appearance from the street was not as abrupt, and there was a story and a coherence to how that, at least as it was presented to us, how that would be seen from the street that made sense. And what we're saying is maybe we need to sit with it
This is
more.
a different style contemporary, but just like that had a lot of elements.
Did.
There was a lot of crazy things with that I thought you guys were definitely knocking that
I
down.
came into that meeting
I was
expect-
shocked.
I came into that meeting expecting to say no to that, and I was won over.
Oh, was
So-
it German accent, Brooklyn accent? I don't
No,
know.
no, it's
Oh,
not
Fran, come on.
that. It's not that.
All right, so are you asking us
I'm asking for an
for an
adjournment.
adjournment to our next meeting?
Guess we're gonna try to color blue next meeting. See if that one goes over. Thank you.
I make a motion to accept the applicant's request to adjourn,
No, approve.
Approve the applicant.
the applicant's request to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Have a good night.
Next, Anthony Albanese, 64 Armand Street. Is there anyone here for this application?
This was adjourned to, I'm double
So
checking
do
it.
I.
Yeah, to the 8th. I'm double checking it.
I thought that was approved.
Or was it approved?
No, it wasn't approved. It was requested to be adjourned last time. It was on our agenda for last meeting.
I have the previous agenda. I can probably tell you. I don't think anybody showed up. Oh, wait. Adjourned to April 8th. I have written down. So that's just a
right.
clerical.
So we don't have to make a motion on that.
No.
It shouldn't have been on the agenda.
Right. Next, Kenneth and Kelly Hoyer, 129 Somerset Avenue. Amend a prior ARB approval, remove silo and exterior alterations.
Hi,
State your name, Lisa, please.
Lisa Zaluga. I'm the architect, Ken and Kelly. And I have little sets in there highlighted for you guys if you would like them.
That's great.
So a little history on this project. We were here a couple of years ago, actually, I guess 2017, and this was what the house looked like when we were originally here. And we were planning on keeping that silo and putting some windows in it, putting a porch to kind of cut it, cut the look down, bring it down a little bit lower, because it housed the stair to get up and down to the second floor. However, when they, we got a building permit a couple months ago, I guess, and when they went in there and they started opening things up, they found that there's a lot of rot. I can give you some of these pictures. The sill plates, the
That's okay.
We should put it in the lab, but
the foundation of the silo, the garage, and actually the sill plates on this little one-story portion here. They were all, it was in really bad shape. So it became obvious that we were going to have to knock down the silo and rebuild it, which the point of keeping it was a financial thing. So that started to not make any more sense. So we, while they were in there working and opening things up and investigating it, we started to redesign it without the silo and make a couple of other changes. So we, they took the silo down in preparation of what they thought was going to be rebuild it, but we haven't decided to do that. And we changed the front dormers on the front of the house. I went away on vacation. They went a little bit further than they should have. They were trying to close it in to protect it, but they went further than they should have. So if you've gone out there, it is relatively framed for this version. So hopefully you were not attached to the silo. But I can go over the changes with you. The largest change is really on the east elevation, which you can see I have the new proposals on the top and the former proposal on the bottom. So the house is obviously, it's a gambrel, and that tower was on the east side of the gambrel. So we've created, when we get rid of that tower, we created a reverse gambrel that comes out over the entry porch. So the porch stays the same. The column locations on the porch are in a different place because the porch got a little bit smaller, but it stays in the same general location. We also changed the window configurations from 2/2s to 6/1s. And as I said, the rot on the garage really makes it necessary for us to knock that down and rebuild it as well. So when we do that, we would like to raise the plate height on the garage and bring it up to the plate height of the house. And that also allows those windows to come up. They were very low to the ground there.
Which windows?
The windows in the
windows.
garage. You
Oh.
can see how short the garage was previously
On the east elevation.
Yeah.
on the east elevation. So we want to raise the plate height of that and bring it up to the plate height of the house.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So on the, I don't even know what page I'm starting on. On the north elevation, you can see that end of the garage and how we've brought the plate height up. And you can just see those dormers and the lack of the silo. The rest of it pretty much stayed the same from that side. On the south elevation, really it's just the change from the 2/2s to 6/1s. And again, the lack of the tower in profile there. And on the west elevation, again, you can see where the garage has a taller plate height. And we removed a window that was in the back of the garage there. And then the main change on that is just a little reverse gable on the second floor. When we brought the stair into the house, we reconfigured the bedrooms and the spaces above, and we're trying to get a little more headroom and height into a bedroom that we put on the second floor there. So those are the changes.
And you're going to rebuild or at least make smaller the chimney, right?
The chimney they've found that the chimney is in disrepair as well. So we are going to have to do something with that chimney, yes.
Well, I was actually never a great fan of the silo.
I didn't think anybody was. I was hoping not.
But I'm not that sad that it's no longer there.
It housed the stair, and as soon as...
Right, I remember
you
that.
know.
The whole thing was weird. I thought but that would be the only access up.
Yeah, and it was a spiral stair, which is not,
No, it didn't sound like a
it's not
good
great for
situation.
furniture. That's actually the reason that there's like that exterior stairs, because they couldn't get furniture up and down that little spiral stair. It really caused problems, so.
So I actually think the house has been improved. I wasn't a big, the silent, God.
I apologize for the timing. I put it in back in the beginning of February, but they did go a little quicker, and then I was away for 2 weeks, so.
I heard
What
that.
is the siding other than the board and batten on the back? What will the new siding be?
The siding is, it's cedar shingles, and they were pre-stained like a silver gray color.
Okay. Is that noted anywhere? I didn't see it
It's
on the
on
plan.
page A6, it says the cedar shingles. It doesn't give the color. It doesn't give the color as the
Pre-stained color to be decided,
yes,
except
it's like the silver gray color.
You don't have a sample of that?
I do not. We weren't changing that, so I didn't bring that with me.
Okay. The second story build out on the west, you said to get more headroom.
Correct.
I mean, that's a fairly major change. It's probably the biggest change not directly dictated by the tower coming down and having to repair the front there. I had a couple questions on it, so this is on the west elevation. Looking at the proposed west elevation, one of the reasons I asked about the chimney is, I guess the chimney is centered to the new gambrel, reverse gambrel on the front, but...
That chimney is shown in its existing location,
Right.
so it's not shown as being,
But it gets smaller from former to proposed. So something's changed on it deliberately.
yes. Actually, I think that that was me actually getting out there to actually measure it.
Oh, what it is.
And find out what it really
That it was
was.
maybe smaller. Okay. So my concern on that form, that new form on the back, the gable there, is the windows are squished to the side and the chimney's off-center. And this is actually, unfortunately, because it's a corner lot, it's visible.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering if you could do something to address that. Is there a way to center the chimney on that form in the back?
That chimney goes down to a through fireplace between those two rooms, and it's centered on those two rooms.
Could it tilt in? Because when I went by, it looked like there was a metal flue that could be either replaced or reshaped to maybe
I can
come in.
I can see whether, I don't know that I can get it fully centered on the gable, because I think I'd have to cantilever it over probably a little too far. But I can, if I were to make it smaller, as you're saying, then I could get it further from that window. I did play with those windows to see whether I wanted to put them symmetrical about the chimney versus symmetrical on the gable. But it also, in the room, worked out better to have them symmetrical on the gable. So I mean, it is a corner lot, but I don't know that you really, because that chimney projects out past that, that wall is, that chimney doesn't really, I mean, that gable doesn't really stick out that far. Because it's only taking up part of the gambrel, and the shed of the dining room there actually comes way up into it. So it's really not much wall surface. It's only about 3 feet high.
And I'm the first to say elevations are always really deceiving, so I try not to rely on them. There's just something about that, I guess.
I know, I did play with it. Yeah, I played with it too.
With the sliding doors below it, an off-center chimney, and that new gable with the windows pushed to the side, it just looked unintentional. Something looked really unintentional about it.
I can try to play with the chimney and shift it over and center it more. I don't know that I can get it fully centered, but I can try. Because they have found that the bricks inside the chimney are waterlogged and that they're going to have to bring it down. There's a lot.
And do you need both those windows?
I do. Yeah, there's only those two little windows, and then the one egress window in that bedroom. So it's kind of.
Because if you dropped them and centered the other one, or moved it over a little, maybe it would look okay. If you.
I think if I can make the chimney a little bit smaller and push it away from that one window so that there's some space, there's some breathing space there. I think you'll forget about, because you're never, even though it is on the corner, you're going to look at it askew. You're never going to actually be looking at it dead on from that.
When you go to take a look at that, could you keep an open mind and see if you can center the chimney?
I will do my very best.
Okay. However that might happen.
Okay.
Would shifting those doors help in any way?
Those are actually existing. Those are the only
The
doors.
only thing
Those are the
left.
only doors in the house we weren't touching.
They open them
Because
and
I
find more
figure if
lot.
you did that, maybe then the other thing wouldn't look so askew. All right, never mind.
It's a funky kind of setup for what's existing, because that room is not centered on the living room that's beyond, like it's not, it's set back from the end of the gable. It's, and the chimney was existing coming through that, not in a centered kind of situation, so. But I can try my very best to get that centered, I will.
Okay.
And Lisa, another quick question. On the east elevation, the new dormer on the north side, sort of, not the gambrel, but the new dormer with the 3 windows under it, that doesn't come all the way to the northern edge because you've got that barn sort of gambrel hinge to the roof, right? It just, that's unfortunate, but I guess it is what it is. And I guess I'm wondering, is there any way that the 2 windows below that on the first floor could be centered on that gable on the second floor? Does that, you're an architect, so does that make sense
there's
or no?
there's a window, there's a wall that comes in for that bedroom. I tried to kind of center the one under the other and just have the one go to the side, but there's a wall that's too close to that, an existing wall.
All right.
Again, that room only has those 2 windows, if you had some play there.
Well, you're dealing with a lot of challenges on this house, and I like the new windows. I think that's a good touch, and obviously, if you're demolishing, even if you weren't demolishing the garage, raising the sill plate, I think is fine, and it's actually a benefit.
I think that helps a lot.
And I'll just say, for the record, I wish work hadn't happened before you came back before us.
I agree.
I
I
hear your
apologize.
explanation.
Let's not be doing any more. How's that?
Yeah, we appreciate you coming back now.
So.
I was planning on, it wasn't like I was, they just kind of,
I'll just let you know, unless you come back and tell us that this is the only place and the only kind of chimney that can be, if this were really the back of the house, I wouldn't mind. It is visible as you drive east on Somerset.
Okay.
And so I'm not prepared to
Okay.
vote in support yet.
So,
Is that all right? Is that fair?
yeah, if I guarantee you that I'll send, it's just that now it's like the house is open, and so there's still finished space inside, so they're trying to close it up as quickly as possible. If I guarantee you that chimney is centered, can I do that? I'll draw it, sign it in blood.
I don't know if we can do that. I don't know what we can do.
Because to be honest, I haven't drawn it, and I can't, unfortunately, look you in the eye and say it would look great or look better than this does. It's just bothering me the way it is now, so I don't know what the solution is.
Okay.
How about you, Christina? How are you doing with this?
I actually don't have a problem with the chimney or anything.
I don't have, I think it's so much better without the silo that
I
I've
think that
lost all sense of
Okay.
reality
driving down
besides that.
Sunset, I don't think you're going to notice.
Here's what I'd be
much.
willing to do.
Thank
It's not in
goodness
the
the
historic
silo's
district.
gone.
Can I make a motion that we approve these plans as is, subject to a good faith effort by the architect to determine whether the chimney can be amended, and if it can, that you just come back to us? Go ahead and close up and...
Okay, that'd be great.
But then we would need new drawings, right, Bo?
I'd like
Yes,
to,
you'd need new drawings, and
So
you
that's
can
sort
make
of-
the motion, but keep the meeting open, if that's,
well, it would be a further amendment. It would be just encouraging her to consider
then
coming
that's
back.
another,
Building.
Application.
we're getting into a
So should we,
procedural nightmare, I
right,
think. I
well,
would
that's what I'm
say
worried about.
you can approve the plan as is, subject to what you want, but keep the meeting open. Don't close the meeting.
Oh, I see. Well, that's,
So she'll have to come back to close the meeting.
but she can still, can she work on it?
Yeah, you'll
Okay.
approve the plan, subject to the good faith
The
effort
good faith
to change the chimney,
Well,
but
that seems
don't
totally
close the meeting.
reasonable.
Okay. So
So, happy.
that's my motion, just as
Okay.
Bo said,
So
which
we
is to
can-
approve the plans.
We can go forward with the other
Good
stuff.
faith effort by you to see what can happen with the chimney that might center it along those
Absolutely.
lines.
But the meeting is
But
open,
Keep the
right?
meeting open
I'll
until,
see you in 2 weeks.
if it's not possible, please do the work, but if it's not possible, just come back and tell us it's not possible.
Okay, no, I will, absolutely.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I'll find out
Second?
how the
Wait, do we have
Oh, sorry.
anyone from the neighbors, anyone have anything to say about this application? No. Okay, go ahead.
Aye.
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 Good.
All right.
Thank you
so-
very much, and I
Okay,
apologize
that
again.
seems like we were very reasonable to me.
Yes, thank you.
Next, public hearings, historic. So my Carol Welsh, 340 Hill Street, there's a letter, right? Is that sticking up?
Yes.
What
it
was
is,
the date of that letter? Today?
Today.
That's what I thought. 'cause I went-
Requesting an adjournment of the hearing until April 8th, 2019.
It's not unreasonable.
What?
It's not unreasonable.
Okay.
request.
Okay. He's unable to, the attorney's unable to attend tonight is the reason. So,
Okay. Motion to accept the,
Approve.
Make a
Approve
motion
the
to
request
accept the
to adjourn.
applicant Carol Welch's request to adjourn to our April 8th meeting.
second, aye.
Aye.
Joyce is pending.
Joyce is
so
adjourned.
next, BLC Hillside Investments LLC. Is there anyone here? Okay.
No
Last-
jurisdiction, no affidavits, so just.
No,
move.
they had already been here.
They've been here before, so.
They were
this
here
is an
last time,
adjournment.
but we had, they're amending an application, and none of us felt that we could approve that.
All right, so,
So they had something in there that said they're putting in the same plans, which none of us felt we could probably approve. And Zach and I we had conferred in the last meeting, so let's move on.
so,
Ray Booth
So
is
what do we
not
do
here?
with that,
So
adjourn?
Antoinette, please note, the board takes no action, and the board itself
You're Ray Booth?
moves to adjourn to the April 8 meeting.
You're not,
That's it.
but you don't want to speak on this?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Are you
is-
here for this application? Oh, excuse?
I'm so
DLC.
sorry. I thought it was another project.
Oh,
I'm so
okay.
sorry.
ELC Hillside Investments LLC. Your name, sir?
Ray Booth from McAlpin. Do y'all have these drawings? I brought extras.
I guess they just got submitted late last week. There's some in
I
here,
think
but
they're
I'll
in there. Thank you.
actually stamp these in a couple.
Are they exactly the same?
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
It's a smaller,
Do I need to give you one too?
No, I don't need
You
one.
do.
Here.
Thank you. I'm not used to hearing it called by that name. I'm
Sleeping
sorry.
is not permitted in the
Yeah.
audience.
It's early.
only we can make
It's only
mistakes.
8:10. It's just a
So
miracle.
sorry.
All right.
Do you wanna-
There was a previous submission that the board had accepted, and we made revisions on that, and we've put together the previously approved plan as well as the amended plan, which shows the red is what was previously approved, the blue is where we are amending it, and then you can see as well, the gray shaded area was the previous porch and stairs, which we've actually pulled back from where they were previously, and made some revisions on the elevations that I can walk you through too.
Well, on some, so I noted, so the last time, you wanted to cover these porches, a lot of them, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. They live a lot of their life outdoors, and they wanted
Right.
the dining table covered as well, so we extended the porch. What they loved about the house is this south porch that exists on the house, so we basically extended that around the back side of the house as well.
Well,
Has anything changed
No.
since 2 weeks ago? to the
No,
plan?
nothing has changed since 2 weeks ago.
well,
Did you
okay.
receive the feedback from the board?
We did.
All right, because I
It's not,
think
not-
right.
Go
I'll
ahead.
summarize maybe what I heard as the feedback. We've already taken a house of a certain size and added about another third to its length, which had the effect of sort of stretching out a Queen Anne-style house. The concern was that by accentuating the back and by extending the porch even more, and by adding in some large dormers, we were losing the look and feel of that original house, and it was becoming something more commercial and more sort of derivative, but not authentic. Is that?
Can I speak to that? Because there is an existing addition that's there that is, and Blair Dibble, who's our contractor, can speak to this. The original house that we're maintaining. I'm sorry?
Just the picture.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. That way the camera can pick it up.
Thanks.
There you go.
Thank you. So the addition is what we're removing, and we're extending that with the new addition, but we're doing it with a better foundation that goes down deeper to the bedrock and what's needed for the foundation. So it's not that the house isn't already extended that far. It is, but we're taking down that part to put back the new.
Our responsibility is to preserve the viewshed of contributing structures in particular, one of our responsibilities in the village, and to maintain enough of their essence that they still look like historic structures.
Sure.
The concern that was expressed at the last meeting was that by extending the porch more, by adding in some of the larger dormers, maybe a couple of other elements as well, centering the dormer on the north side over what has been approved, but is a very large window not of the period, we were beginning to push up to and maybe across the line of preserving the historic essence of the house. Am I summarizing that
I
correctly?
would say, yeah.
Perfectly.
Okay. So,
So so we really could not say yes to this. And as far as I'm concerned, it just got so busy, so stretched. The covered porches make it appear even longer, more elongated. I can't be in favor of it. This is it's South Main Street, it's historic.
But is it not my understanding that if we are maintaining what's viewable from the street, that's
Well,
our
a lot of
main
it is
goal?
viewable from the street, not just the front. It's not somebody standing in front of it. We
Well,
went
the
over
house is
this.
covered, I mean, we did, on the back, we did include the landscape shots of the house, which show that there is the hedge and that you don't see to the back.
But
And in
it's-
addition, there's a two-story hedge that's between the church and the house that is being maintained.
Right, but we're not hiding the historic house. This is always something that comes up in Southampton. Landscaping is not to hide structures. If you want to have
No, of course.
privacy, that's your business. If you live there, there's no law against it. But this isn't, but this is a historic house. It is flanked on South Main Street is a very historic street.
Sure.
A beautiful part of Southampton.
The clients love this
Historic.
house. We're wanting to maintain
So
what is good
making it
about this
so,
house.
so from my perspective, the original approval granted you, I thought was lenient. I'm almost sorry, in looking at it again, that the extension of the porch, some of that I thought perhaps was too much. And so then to cover it and to make it look, you can see the side of this house, it's making, you're changing those windows, it gets very busy. To me, I can't accept it.
Can
How
you
about
tell
you,
me
Zach?
what we could do that would
We
make
mentioned it
acceptable?
before.
Yeah, well, there are really a couple of specific things, and it's extremely helpful that you've rendered this as approved.
What was
and
approved, yes, sir.
To be kind of thing, so that makes it much easier. In this particular instance, burden on you, not necessary, but that third existing would show the progression even more specifically. And I think if you look, really the south elevation is the biggest issue, because not only does that covered pavilion all the way in the southeasterly corner further exaggerate the length of that wall, which is visible from the street, I suppose, from a tall ladder looking
actually
over the
not.
hedge.
Yeah, you'd have to get over the hedge, yes, sir.
But as you probably heard a few instances earlier, so we don't want to cover the houses with the hedges so that
Sure.
it doesn't change the architecture. So that accentuates the length of this by another, 12 to 15 feet. But also, and frankly, I don't even understand the reasoning, on the first floor, many windows have been introduced so that now appears as almost a continuous wall of windows from the front all the way to the back. And I think one observation that was made at the last meeting is that it almost has a kind of a Victorian hotel feeling about it. It's kind of lost its residential quality, because if you compare, obviously, what's above, if we go to the front parlor, for example, or to the left of the pair of doors leading to the stairs coming out on the south side, now there's an additional pair of windows there. There are, for whatever reason, doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter how we're living inside. What matters is what we see from the outside. So the interior program, whatever is happening, that's happening. And then if we come to the back, this bank of 4 windows has now shifted a bit. That may just be a drawing, kind of a discrepancy. I don't know.
Yeah, they should be in the same
They should be the
location,
same.
yes, sir.
But that's okay. But now, instead of this grouping, we now have a continuous expanse of windows. So again, I think that just accentuates this elongated, not only the length, but also the windows are no longer contained by discrete rooms. They just seem to be a continuous expanse. That kind of, and I know we had ballrooms in the Victorian period, most of them were on ships. This one just appears to be one large room that it just changes the kind of the feeling of the house.
I think
And I think that's what we're.
we had felt like in truth, that this felt a little blunted, and that this actually
I'm sorry, what
breaks-
is this?
Sorry,
Yeah,
let me point here, I'm sorry.
So that'd be the most
That this
easterly
truncated, yes, sir,
Yeah.
felt a little more severe, and that indeed this porch starts breaking the scale down so that it's not as blunt on this end. And to us, that was an advantage for the architecture.
Well, I think blunt, you're using the word blunt, I'm thinking it comes to an end. And if we want to soften the bluntness by introducing more architecture, we're kind of exaggerating the thing. So I think the fault is not perhaps here, but the fact that it's going this far to begin
with, right.
So, and then again, to exaggerate this.
I regret that I didn't bring the original because the original comes this far. It is indeed already.
It's already that long.
And it is substandard to what the quality of the architecture is. What we're going to be putting back is going to be of the quality of the original house, which the clients indeed have wanted to maintain and encourage.
I don't think the board questions that at all, and everybody wants to arrive in a good place together here.
Thank you.
But since this rather substantial Queen Anne era house was already significantly enlarged, and perhaps in a way that is no longer considered to be all that, harmonious, et cetera. Nevertheless, it is that big now, and I think the general feeling solving that problem is not about making it even longer, if only on this floor.
Well, part of that was indeed programming from the clients. They wanted to have the covered outdoor dining and as part of.
I'm sorry.
Don't they?
Isn't this the original
That
house?
is,
And
yes.
so it didn't extend as far as what's been approved.
No, it didn't extend as far, but there is, part of that is being taken off and being extended. The original house, that end part, if you flip over to the next page, or one of the next
elevation do you
pages. I'm sorry, I don't have that document.
Which direction do you want? Just tell me.
Looking from the east.
But just to be clear, I thought you said that this already existed, but it doesn't.
No, it was
Can you hear
set
that?
back.
Yeah, and that's what we're objecting to, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's the
A
east.
huge stretch.
So the gable that exists, so the first hip section of that roof, that is being extended out in this last little, I don't have the thing to point. This last hipped roof at the end is what's being torn off to be added under that larger hip roof.
Just to go back, because I think one of the big concerns is the south elevation. And this gets to what Susan was saying before, where we are, the approval down here versus what was up there originally has been extended by 10, 15 feet?
Yes.
This is a good illustration of the concern we had last time, I think, where it's gone from looking like a house with an extension on it to something more commercial that would not have been built in the era that it was built in as a residence. It might have been built as a hotel. And, landscaping, I think we have a love-hate relationship with landscaping, which is that we like it when it softens things, and we will ask people sometimes to consider landscaping if we believe there are privacy issues, legitimate privacy issues. But we also have to assume it's not there. Everything could get white. We had a hurricane in 1938 that took down every tree that was there. And that could happen next year.
Sure.
In which case, from the road, you would see that expanse. So we hope that doesn't happen, but I think that's the spirit in which we, particularly in the historic district, that we look at houses.
We're supposed to
like this.
try to preserve the historic elements if possible.
Which is our goal,
With or
too.
with, what?
It's our goal too.
Well,
We certainly want to be
disagree on
respectful of
certain parts of it, I'm afraid. So I could not, I'm back where I was the last time, I'm afraid. And
So-
Zach
I
He's
think
still
what's
there,
been
too.
approved
was generous.
was a substantial
Well,
addition.
we have, in the back,
Does
we have
impact this
Cypress
south
report.
facade
I know.
considerably.
He said,
So
this is
this certainly
appropriate,
doesn't
but that's it.
prove that visual impact. Because now, this is a large house that had been made larger, that is yet again being made considerably larger. So I think any addition to that just is a further
Well,
impact.
for what the clients programmatically wanted for this house. To me, the solution was to work within the existing architecture and pull from the frame, the lines of the roof and things that existed,
Right.
and not to add some strange addendum onto this house, like some anomaly, which could have been another solution. So our goal was to try and pull from the architectural language that was already existing to create programmatically what the clients were looking for the house. And their goal is certainly to live in it the way they need to for a young family, but
Well, I mean, the board's not going to get into lifestyle.
Yes,
So-
we're really
so,
interested in
you know, where the
preserving
outdoor dining
a
table goes on
historic
the
structure, and I thought, honestly, we went the distance the first time, is really what I feel. So I could not, I'm not willing, I haven't changed since the last meeting. I do not think this is appropriate for this house on South Main Street.
okay. So I guess, what are our next steps? Do I,
You could ask
or,
an adjournment.
Ross to
So
adjourn
if
the
you
next
want to talk to the
meeting
client and come up with,
and Back to the drawing board.
go back to the drawing boards, or you could accept they could accept what we already approved. There are many ways to deal with it.
okay. Might I ask you, I'm sorry, for some of these additions, the dormers in particular, were to create functional space in this room, and then also head height
Which
for the
door, can you
stair.
point out with
They're in the front.
directions, elevations?
I'm sorry, this is the south elevation,
Okay.
which is the dormer in a bedroom
is.
upstairs.
That's that
Over on the
large
lower right
dormer.
corner of each, it'll say, on the elevations, it'll say
Funny.
south elevation. Okay. So you're talking about the 4-window dormer?
Yes, sir.
It's too many, isn't it? Didn't we discuss this last time? Zach?
Yep.
This is also, you're chopping it, you're elongating it, and then you're chopping it up. You're also, to me, it has it's way too busy and way too chopped up. It's a nice house. It's a beautiful house.
So does the existing house have
The
any of
proportions
these
just look wrong.
Those are
type of
near
dormers?
replicant of what is existing on the house. I think,
Rob, does the drawing, the set that you have shows
The
as
The
an
hip,
addition?
yeah.
Does it show this hipped dormer? Well, there'd be one.
On which elevation are we?
We'd be
be
looking
on the
first
south.
on the south. It's on the roof as it extends toward the,
Existing. This is existing and as previously approved, top and bottom. Which are you talking about, the previously approved?
oh, I'm sorry, that's, it's the other side of the house, and the
It's
east
not-
side as well.
Okay. That's, I'm sorry, that's north elevation. I
we're
apologize.
looking on the north
Okay,
and the
you're looking on the south side,
yes.
south elevation, okay.
That top dormer exists.
What is, I can't see the roof line from here. What is the?
It's on the screen, can you see it on the
Oh,
screen?
sorry. Yes, a little bit better. So,
And there's I believe there's another
But I
one on
mean-
the,
it's reasonable if we look at the existing, which is at the top, and what was then proposed and approved, how much more house there is there, and the introduction of, I mean, it adds a whole room, I guess. It must be a whole room going, right?
correct.
So that's what was approved. But this what's now proposed on the south side is to double the length of that, and just, that makes the mass of that new, larger attic dormer considerably larger. And I think that just further emphasizes this sense of there being
It makes that room up there functional as a bedroom.
Understood. But architecturally, there are probably many other things you could do to make things even more functional. You could gang all these dormers together and have one long dormer. I'm just saying the function and how this space could or could not be used, it obviously results in the architecture that we see, but it cannot be the rationale for why that must be so. Because we're looking at it from the standpoint of what is within the public domain and what are people going to see. And we're just seeing too much. We're seeing too much window, too much.
My biggest concerns in the last presentation 2 weeks ago were those two dormers, north and south. I think they don't look historic. I don't think they fit the house. And so I understand you're trying to accomplish something in terms of making the rooms functional inside, but they have a scale to them and a breadth that you don't see anywhere on the house. They sort of overwhelm the other dormers on the house, which I think are nice single-window dormers of that period, or more typical of that period. And it starts to make the house look like a reproduction rather than original. And so those were the elements that were most unattractive to me, or most inappropriate in my opinion. On the north side, the fact that that proposed dormer lines up with the very large window assembly for the staircase, which is something I wasn't happy with the first time, just sort of exacerbates the issue. You're hearing pretty significant and consistent pushback that this board feels that these changes, the owner, if they may, and I don't want to patronize them, and they may well know, but owning a house in the historic district, as some of us do, comes with some great benefits and some obligations. And it's our responsibility to protect the look and feel of that house as part of the fabric of the historic district. And I think what you're hearing pretty consistently is that these changes are pushing past the comfort level in terms of appropriateness.
Well said. Yes. Something happens, and what was there is completely, to me, transformed into something that really isn't that pleasing. It loses the sort of discreet charm of the previous form. There's way too many, it's excessive windows and stretch. And I can't say yes to this.
I agree.
The best option for you probably is to just ask for an adjournment.
Adjournment, okay.
Keeps your options open, you won't have to renotice, and you can talk to the clients about
Right,
what
it's
may
just-
work.
We'll do that. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay, so are you
We're
asking?
sorry, too.
For an adjournment, yes.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you, folks.
Last, Beechwood Latch LLC, 101 Hill Street, demolish existing structures north of the Latch Building. Please introduce yourselves, gentlemen.
Stephen Dubb with Beechwood Organization.
Oh, someone else got up?
No, they're just going to
Okay,
watch.
that's fine.
I like to torture them.
So this is...
I guess if you want, the four of us can stand up here.
Okay, also.
So 5 structures, I'm sorry, 7 structures, 1 tennis court that we'd like to demolish at 101 Hill Street, not including the Village Latch Building. We're going to address that on a separate
Is the
application.
tennis court part of the 7 or not?
Yes.
Yes. Well, it's an 1/8.
Oh, well then,
There are 8 altogether.
Right.
Bo, do you want this?
No, thanks.
So 7 structures and a surface-level tennis court.
That's what I meant to say. And so I started explaining this last time. I think your conclusion of the last meeting was that you wanted that.
Yes, and he did file a report,
I did.
which he can summarize.
Yeah. Very briefly, the only buildings of interest, potential interest, would be those that are situated at the extreme northerly back of the property. They clearly appear to have been moved to that site because they sit on cement block foundations. They stylistically appear to date from the 20s or 30s, probably the 30s. They're colonial revival structures. Essentially, they have no great architectural interest. They weren't noted on the inventory form. So all of these structures and buildings that are actually on that property, presumably had been back in '79, were never noted as having any particular interest. Of course, these are about a mile from Hill Street, so whoever did that form never probably saw them.
And do you think that, well, maybe they were moved at a different, oh,
They were definitely moved. I checked the earlier maps, and in the teens and 20s,
Okay.
they're not there. So they arrive on the property at some point subsequent to that. The conservatory or greenhouse that connects the two has some architectural interest, not specifically for that property. It doesn't belong there in the sense of it being an original feature to that property. It's just that independently, it's a kind of a lovely little iron-framed greenhouse that was obviously of sufficient value that someone decided to save it, probably from next door, and moved it there. Both of those contiguous properties were owned by the same person at one time. But, so there's really nothing about those structures that says they need to be preserved. They don't have any historical value architecturally either for that property. So that was my observation, which I sent along to you.
Just out of curiosity, is the 1978 date, is that possibly when they were moved there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we meant by it.
Yep, 78. So they just got in under the wire from when the inventory was done.
I think we were at approximate year, but I think we were going off of Sanborn maps, so that's when they seem to appear to us.
Okay, right.
No issues.
I don't.
Be nice to try to save the glass
The
greenhouse.
glass greenhouse, but maybe
It'd be
someone.
great if someone in
Somewhere.
town
Could
needed
take
a
it.
nice little greenhouse.
Yeah, not
I'll
me.
offer it.
Put it
I have
on Craigslist.
Yeah, it'll be gone in a
Free.
flash.
Come take it.
So I think Zach did a good job, and I'm going with him. Is there anyone from the public who has anything to say about this? No.
I'll make a motion that we approve, that we send to ask council for written decision to approve BLC Hillside Investments demolition as proposed.
Second.
Aye.
I
Aye.
think we meant Latch, right?
I'm sorry, Beechwood Latch LLC, I apologize. I called the wrong name. Beechwood Latch LLC, 101 High Street.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
I believe we've come to the end. Have we?
You have.
Do I have a motion to close the meeting of the Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation for March 25th, 2019?
Second.
So moved, sorry. Second.
Yes.
Aye.
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 Okay.